What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so as hard as this may be to believe, there are still some votes that are being counted. Uh, Generally, in states like California, New York, um, I think Washington, Oregon, some of the most populous states, states that allow provisional ballots, mail-in ballots. Uh, those are the states that are still counting some votes. But the election it's been determined for over 2 weeks. That's not what it is. It's just really the final exact margin or totals that still need to be determined. So this is the thing. Trump will finish with over 77 million votes when all is said and counted. He's going to finish with over 77 million. I don't think he's going to reach 78. I think it's going to be 77 million and some change. That will be the most votes ever earned by a GOP candidate in American history. More, some 3 million more than what he received 4 years ago in his failed reelection bid. So he improved dramatically uh, in his performance this election in the election 4 years ago. But what's more dramatic is the fall of the Democrats. Joe Biden got 81 million votes in 2020. Even though people swear that it was some conspiracy, at the end of the day, he did get 81 million votes. But what's going to be especially disconcerting for Democrats is that Kamala's going to finish probably with about 75 million votes, right? So she's going to be about 2 million votes behind Donald Trump. That's a fall of 6 million, give or take, votes from 4 years ago. So what exactly happened? Well, when people were saying that they were going to vote the couch because they just weren't satisfied with the direction of the Democratic Party, weren't satisfied with the fact that their concerns as voters were poo-pooed. I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you something that we observed many black men. When Barack Obama wagged his finger at black men and tried to scold us into voting for her and completely ignoring our concerns, that resonated with a lot of people. I'm telling you, as a black man, I don't think I've seen that many black men angry. Black men who probably would have even held their nose and voted for her just out of loyalty or to the Democratic Party, or maybe better put, using the lesser of two evils argument. When Barack Obama pulled that shit, oh, a lot of black men were pissed at that. And some of them may have been telling you they were going to vote for Kamala, but secretly, many of them stayed home, or, as we've seen with so many different races across the country, they voted from the governor or Senate race on down, and they just didn't vote for her. That's why in some of those states, the Senate candidate or the gubernatorial candidate got more votes than Kamala, because in some of those states, they just chose not to vote for her. Bottom line is, the Democrats ran a bad candidate. And also, many people in the Democratic base were angry at the fact that the party pushed out the candidate that had won the primaries. You talk about Trump is going to end democracy, but you guys have a bad history when it comes to exercising democracy when it comes to choosing your candidates. Look what you've done to Bernie Sanders back 8 years ago in 2016, the primaries. You had to use the power of the superdelegates to block him from beating Hillary Clinton, not to mention the fact that the media, including MSNBC and CNN, especially MSNBC back then, you portrayed Bernie Sanders, you started giving the perception, including some of the Democratic surrogates, that he's a racist. When if you look at the history between Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton, his civil rights record is way stronger than hers. But you did that to smear him because there are a bunch of, as I hate to use this term, but it's true, low information voters who vote purely on that one issue. Oh, who's the least racist? Or who the least racist, or who I think is who's the least racist of these two candidates? That's what I'm going to vote for. Fine, that's a very important reason to vote for somebody. It is. It's important. I factor that in. But you got to look at things other than that, because when you just look at that factor, which oftentimes you could be the victim of misinformation and make a bad choice, you're neglecting the major issues that are more pertinent to our overall community. 2020, you did it again to Bernie Sanders. You rigged it so that you kept the progressive candidate Elizabeth Warren in the race, so that the progressive vote was split between her and Bernie Sanders, but you made sure that the centrist Democratic vote was gobbled up by Joe Biden and monopolized by Joe Biden, but you made Amy Klobuchar and Pete Buttigieg drop out. So you rigged it. Then you rigged it further, this primary race cycle, I should say, by rearranging the long-standing primaries. It always has been the Iowa caucus, the New Hampshire primary. Then I think what was next? Then you had the Nevada primary, I believe it is. Then South Carolina. But because of how strong Joe Biden is with black voters, you made South Carolina the first primary, then followed by Georgia, I think, so that Biden could build this big lead, and you completely shut out all the third-party candidates. You shut them out. You shut them out because in 2016, Gary Johnson, libertarian, and most of Gary Johnson's votes, according to exit polling, were siphoned from Hillary Clinton. He got 4 million votes. Jill Stein, I think, got like 1 or 2 million votes in 2016. So that they know that the third parties in this cycle, at least, and when I say cycle, I mean in this era, most of the third parties get much of their votes from the Democratic side. They know that. That's why they put out all these lawsuits to keep these third party candidates off the ballots in all these states. They did all this crap and they still lost. And guess what? They can't take accountability whatsoever. They can't accept accountability. They're pointing the finger. They're still blaming their base. They're still blaming black people and blaming Latinos, when in the grand scheme of things, this was your fault. Your fault that you lost. And I feel nothing for them, you know? But anyway, just want to put that out there. Tell me what you guys think.